the Illawarra. How wonderful it is to be able to greet you in this way today. Happy Christmas to every single one of you. I want to thank you for the incredible work that you've done with Santafest over the years. How remarkable, how many people that's been able to help, especially for the First Floor program. Incredible. Your hope bringers, your hope givers. We wish you a very, very happy Christmas. May this one be very special for you and your family. Bless you. Thank you for your ongoing support.
Hi there, my name is Dean Simpson and I'm from the Salvation Army, and I'm here today with Marilyn Dunn, who is the at the First Floor program. She heads it up, so I've just got a few questions for her to find out a little bit about the First Floor program and who she is. So welcome, Marilyn.
Thank you, Dean.
So tell us a little bit about the First Floor program and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. So yes, my name is Marilyn Dunn and I'm the coordinator of the First Floor program, which is a family inclusive drug and alcohol mental health service operated out of the Salvation Army at Wollongong, but with a reach that goes well beyond. We have groups in a variety of locations and have trained people in programs all the way from Victoria through to Central Queensland. We have a psychologist, a family support worker, a youth and family support worker, and a children and family support worker that work as part of our program. And they see clients individually, but also we run a number of support programs for families impacted by addictions and mental health issues, for people who have loved ones in jail or on parole, for grandparents or other kin carers who have the full-time responsibility of the care of children, people impacted by suicide bereavement, And as well, this year we've started a new group, a new monthly support group for people impacted by borderline personality disorder in a loved one. As well as that, we do a variety of community education, things like financial literacy, well-being, stress education, preferably less stress education. And we operate out of a couple of sites in the Illawarra, including Wollongong and Port Kembla, as well as having support groups in the other locations I mentioned before.
How long have you been involved?
Oh, too long. I've been involved in the first floor program initially voluntarily, just by coming along and supporting families who were coming along to the support groups for over 20 years. I've been working in the program since about 2003. Something that as a family we've embraced. We've learnt a lot about ourselves and about people, about needs that present in the community. And it's really our privilege and pleasure to work with the families that we work with.
Okay, Christmas is coming up, so my question is, has Christmas always been kind to you? And what was your best Christmas and why?
This is a really difficult question. I'm not a big lover of festivities. So I wouldn't say that Christmas is necessarily my favourite time of year. I've had a number of losses around the period of Christmas, and I think that's common to a lot of people, a lot of families. Christmas is not always festive for people. And I haven't got a single Christmas that stands out as my favourite. As a child and teenager, we always holidayed for 6 weeks at Christmas. That was great. Spent the time at the beach with family and had a lovely time. Probably the Christmas that stands out most to me, being Australian, is one that we spent in Winnipeg in Canada, where it was, minus 26 and
the opposite.
Ridiculous. So some stand out, but I wouldn't say that I have a favourite Christmas. But I do enjoy the knowledge that, the world is celebrating an event that has a special meaning to me. And I just encourage people to really look for the meaning in the event.
Well, I was going to ask that. How do you in your role make Christmas better for others?
Oh, that's a really good question. In our role, I think we're about meeting people at their point of need. And often, or just this week, I've been along to a dinner for families who've been bereaved by suicide. And sometimes it's as simple as sitting and listening to their story and sharing the pain with them, and knowing that those people accept what we have to offer so willingly, and are accepting of something so simple that we can give. So I think in giving of ourselves, that's how we impact at Christmas time the most.
And if you had a magic wand, what would be your Christmas wish?
The saying, if wishes were fishes, goes through my mind. We'd all cast our nets in the sea. I'm not a big believer in wishes or magic or luck. I do believe very much in blessing and the, the idea of sharing our blessings with others. And the greatest blessing that we can have, going along with love, are peace and hope. And if I was to ask for something special to have at Christmas time, it would be that we would be more considerate of one another, sensitive to one another's needs, and supportive, encouraging and compassionate, but love. I think ultimately having the love and sharing the love is most important.
Thanks, Marilyn. Have a happy Christmas, and I hope it's a special one.
Thank you.
Radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Hi, I'm Sonia Button. I'm the Program Manager of Carina Women and Children's Service, and I just wanted to thank everybody for their generous donations last year, because you don't know how much it means to women when they come in here. When women come in and they've got nothing, and they go into the rooms and they have a look and they start to unpack, what they find is a beautiful little gift box that you've given them, with the nice smelly stuff or whatever is on their bed. But it's our little gift to them and welcome when they come in, and the smile on their face. A lot of women have said, "Oh my God, I haven't had any of this for years," and it just means a lot. And especially the teenage stuff too, like the teenage girls have been really happy with the stuff too, and gone and, they've picked it up off their bed and then gone and show their mum, and then they're both, have that nice moment together. So it does mean a lot, and I really appreciate it. We've also given it to people and teenagers for their birthdays. And again, a lot of people haven't had a gift in a long time, and it just puts a smile on their face, and makes us feel really warm. And hopefully you can feel warm about it too, because it means a lot.
every year I'm a little cautious around throwing the phrase around Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever. Well, this year has been a pretty tough year on a global scale. COVID has caused havoc. Even though we in Australia are beginning to get back to some sort of normal, we're facing decades of recovery. Businesses are still struggling and going under. Overseas travel, tourism and trade is still heavily restricted. In many countries around the world, the number of cases is still going up, the number of deaths is still growing, and the level of suffering and hardship is increasing. On top of that, even though everyone is trying to deal with the virus, people are still at war. Violence and death continues in many places around the world, just as if the pandemic didn't exist. Christmas is going to be very different for our world this year. On a more local level, it's been a difficult year for most. Many have lost jobs. Many are looking at business statements and wondering how they will continue to trade. Many have been unable to pay rent and to afford the basics of existence. Demand for our services has grown dramatically, and we expect it to continue to grow as the economy continues to struggle. Christmas is going to be very different for people this year. A friend of mine lives and works in the USA, but her parents live in Mexico. Earlier this year, her father and mother contracted coronavirus, and while her mother made it through, her father did not. He was promoted to glory, as we say in the Salvation Army. My mother spent weeks in hospital and was released, but had to move in with my friend in the USA because she was left so weak and unable to care for herself. Christmas is going to be very different for her family this year. So you can see that this year I'm even more cautious about saying Merry Christmas. For me, it's more important than ever to consider the spiritual key of Christmas, the unique spiritual truth of the Christmas story. This truth is that God, however we understand God, came to be one of us, came and lived among us as one of us. I don't know if you're interested in ancient mythology. I don't know if you're interested in gods like Zeus and Apollo, Thor, Isis, Odin, Heracles, Mars, and all the rest of them. I assume you've at least heard of Thor and his hammer Mjolnir. If you haven't read any of their stories, and go and look for them. They're great, they're incredibly fun and entertaining. In fact, they read a lot like supernatural soap operas. Fascinating stuff. But anyway, in the stories, the gods come down from, Mount Olympus or wherever, and they have adventures and dealings with humanity. They fight battles for humanity, with humanity, or against humanity. They lead, teach, build, and do all sorts of things. They were ancient superheroes. They were with humanity, but they were different. They stood above humanity. Christmas says something very different about Jesus. Jesus, the one true God, was not like Thor, a superhero with a hammer wrapped in a cape, but a baby in a manger wrapped in a cloth, fully and completely immersed in human existence and experience. The beautiful and extraordinary truth is that God, as we understand him, came to be one of us in every sense. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and bear a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is translated God with us. This is the truth that transforms our understanding of God and the universe. Despite the rough times, the hard times, the hurtful times, and the frustrating times, God is present. God is not distant, unfeeling, or unrelatable. God is down to earth, understanding, and available. I pray that you understand the message of Christmas, particularly this year, that God will be with you, God will help you, and God will strengthen you. God bless you each. Thank you for joining with us this evening.
For a miracle, a heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh come, Emmanuel. Child prays for peace on earth, and she's calling out from a sea of hurt. Oh come, Emmanuel. drought breaks with the tears of a mother. A baby's cry is the sound of love. Come down, Emmanuel. He is a song for the suffering. He is Messiah, the Prince of Peace has come. He has come, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world. 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 For all who wait, for all who hunger, for all who pray, for all who wonder. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel, Glory to the light of the world. Glory to the light of the world. Glory to the light of the world. Behold your King, behold Messiah, Emmanuel, The world waits for a miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh come, Emmanuel.